Bum, 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 bum. Ah, there we go. Welcome back, everyone. Another week, another Friday, another another week of episodes of America, the Real Life Show. Crazy, crazy, crazy times. Today, I just wanted to talk a little bit about some beginner tips, some beginner stuff I do. I've seen a lot of questions also in the Discord for more beginner-oriented stuff. So I figured I talk about that a little bit, what I do, what I use, how I formulate my crypto wallets, for example. Maybe I don't know. Just I figured I'd go through a few platforms and a few other stuff. One more quick chat message. There we go. All right, there we go. Right. So as I was talking about, I want to do a little bit of beginner stuff, beginner tips and tricks. So yeah, let's just dive right into that. I'm gonna share my screen if it will let me. Which one is it? That one. There we go. So obviously I always start my streams with CoinMarketCap. I think is the holy grail, the Bible for any beginner in crypto. Anything you do, any coin project or thing you want to buy, I always look at CoinMarketCap. I open it pretty much every day, see what's happening, see if there's, well, they used to have news at the top right. They kind of got rid of that, but check some news, check some prices, check the Fear and Greed Index. Like every day, I check this index. Now, if you're a total beginner, you have no clue what the Fear and Greed Index is. It's basically, as the name says it, what is the current market sentiment. So right now, it's pretty neutral. It's been bouncing back and forth the last few weeks, quite fast actually. And I've said it before, you can trade pretty much based on this Fear and Greed Index. When we're in low end neutral, but basically when we're in fear, you buy. When we're in greed, you sell. And it feels sometimes very counterintuitive because some prices are going up. We see charge moving up. We see our portfolios going up. We see money rising, and we're always thinking just a little bit more. I'm going to sell there. I'm going to sell at that price. And it's a fictitious price we invent ourselves usually. And what usually ends up happening is we wait too long. So we're basically left holding the bag. The prices drop, and then we start thinking like, I'm going to buy a little bit more, and then I'm going to cash out when it goes back up to that price. But it never does. This is basically what happens in bull markets with people who are new, just getting into crypto, who just think we want those gains. We're going to keep holding. We're going to hodl into eternity. And then, you're left holding the bag without taking any profits. And I'm not saying you can't make any profit then, but it's going to be a very long time to hold projects or very long road to dollar cost average your way back into a reasonable price where you can actually make a profit. So, in this base, if you were to trade this, red is buy, green is sell, and this is similar to basically any price level you see, any trade you make. Be sure to take profits along the way because that will save you on a downturn, and a downturn will always come. Prices are always moving up and down, so we will always see a structure like this. Right, so that's basically what I check every day. We check Bitcoin, Fear and Greed Index, altcoin season, but it's been stuck on. I think someone needs to tap it because it's been pretty much stuck on Bitcoin for I'd say going on the 2 years almost, but it's been stuck there for a while, and it'll be stuck there for a while because I think Bitcoin currently has all the hype. Is stealing the show completely. Although we have seen Ethereum going up a little bit more lately, so I'm hoping we finally get some love for the altcoins. But yeah, it's been slow going. But I'm sure I'm not the only one that's noticed that. So yeah, that's CoinMarketCap. I think that is, like I said, the Holy Grail, the Bible we need to be watching. Now, on top of that, we can use the crypto bubbles. I think also is a very neat tool you can use, and it visualizes basically the same information here, but you can see on the daily, weekly, monthly things that stand out, coins that have been very underperforming or very overperforming. Let's take PiCoin, for instance. You see a 50% drop. Now, let's say this is a project where you think this is going to do well. This is a project I've researched. I think this is going to do well in the future. Or Jupiter, for instance. When I see drops of like 20% on a project, I'm dollar cost averaging into. So one of my longer term holds. And I see a 20% drop, I instantly check, all right, how much cash do I have on the side? Am I going to buy? How much am I going to buy? But this is a dollar cost averaging moment for me, regardless of what the chart is doing. So not really seeing one of my holds right now. I wanted to grab an example, but let's grab the weekly. All right, Sui. So Sui, I hold Sui quite a bit. A drop of 5.5% for me is not big enough to warrant another buying position. So 10% plus, depending on the asset, on the token, how volatile it is, how big the market cap is. Sui is rather big, so if it's above 10%, a 10% drop, then yes, I could say I'll buy a little bit more. So this is on the weekly, but on the daily, it did drop 10%. So I could say, yeah, daily 10% drop. All right, I'll buy a little bit more. The downside, the slight deviation from that is that currently Bitcoin has also dropped, and a lot of the tokens are dropping. So I've not bought yet, but I am keeping a close eye, and I'm thinking there's a little bit more of panic in the markets, let's say, considering the whole global Iran situation. So I'm kind of holding off a little bit more, but I am very close. So let's say it hits 12, 13, 14%. That's when I'll place another buy. And always, if you can, use limit orders, because your expenditures, your fees will always be guaranteed the lowest, at least on the exchange that you're using. So you're not caught in a high volatility moment and you end up paying too much for the token. But yeah, that's another tool I use to visualize more what I do. So let's say we grab that daily, obviously very red even. But yeah, same goes for Solana. Solana, it's not big enough of a drop yet. I look at minimum of 10%. Sui, it's right on the edge. AVAX, also right on the edge, is also one of my longer term holds. So that is how I select my my daily buys. And Virtual, I hold Virtual as well, but it's a lower market cap, so it's more volatile. It's more prone to declines and rises in the price. So a 13% drop, also right on the edge, but I would say closer to 20% on Virtual is instant buy. If not, I'll look into it. I'll grab the charts and I'll start looking like, all right, are we close to a very big support? Is it very likely to bounce, et cetera, et cetera? That is where I try to place my buys strategically. And the same goes the other way around. Does it? If Virtual will go up 20%, I wouldn't sell everything because I'm trying to gather more of it, but I would sell, let's say I put in $100, it goes up 20%. I would take out around maybe 20, 30, maybe even $50. But everything else I leave in, depending on how big the volume spike is at that point. But I would take out quite a considerable amount, and I do that so that paired with my monthly deposits, I have enough cash to buy days like this. Like these red times is exactly when we need to be buying. So especially if you're new to crypto, if you just bought your first Bitcoin, and the day after Bitcoin drops 10% or 5%. Obviously, Bitcoin's a lot bigger, so the percentage will usually be smaller, but it could happen. It has happened in the past. But let's say you just bought your first crypto and it drops 20%. If you've researched it, or if it's you think a legitimate project, just grab that discount. Take that L, buy a little bit more, and even out your average, because when that price inevitably returns, you're much better positioned for either taking profit completely or taking a little bit out. So 20%, 10 and 20% are the levels I look at personally, and I think are a bit. I think they're reasonable. Like, you could buy a 9.7. Obviously, it's very close. It doesn't really matter that much, but it's a bit of a mentality I keep for myself. Now, another tool, a very big, I think one of the most important tools as well, TradingView, a charting plan software, can be completely free. I use it free. I used to have a paid plan, but I just don't use it enough for that. I used to be, when I was actively day trading, using trading bots, forex markets, etc. Then I used it. But I've taken a more laid back approach, so I don't really use it as much as more. But TradingView, great platform. I use it mainly for charting, but you can get trading ideas from other traders. There's loads of extra indicators as well, but I use it mainly for trading, charting my Bitcoin, and looking at Bitcoin long term, because I'm almost always on the daily chart, looking at the daily plans, looking at what basically Bitcoin is doing in a larger plan. So this drop back down here, I'm not too worried about it. Like, it didn't reach the low of this candle, so technically it's still in an uptrend, and it also massively spiked back up. So honestly, I'm not too worried. I would have liked to see it go a little bit lower, because this green line is where I would be buying more Bitcoin, and I was just shy of it hitting my limit order. But yeah, sometimes that's just the way it goes. This is also, if you've watched any of my previous streams, why on BitUnix, a crypto exchange. I have a link to it in the description below. Feel free to check that out. But BitUnix is one of the platforms I use a lot, but they have a dual investment function. So on Bitcoin, you can post your limit order, and if it doesn't hit the price, you still get a return on your funds. So you get a small percentage for putting up your USDT to buy Bitcoin at a lower price. And they do this because they need less liquidity of their own. So the fees people pay to buy Bitcoin or sell Bitcoin or trade USDT, etc., they split the exchange splits that with you. And this is similar to options trading on a stockbroker. And I think it's a great way to add a little bit more money to your portfolio. So you could put, I want to buy Bitcoin at 100,000, and if it doesn't hit that price, you still get a small return, a small little fee on the amount you post. Now, it doesn't seem like much, but it stacks up, because if you keep doing this, otherwise your money is just sitting in your account. Your limit orders are just waiting for a price that doesn't hit, so you make nothing. So it's quite an easy way to add a little bit more returns on your investment without having to stake it or farm it, or just setting limit orders which don't hit. And the only downside would be to this is that it requires some more manual operation, because in 16 hours it expires, and you can reset it, but you will have to do that manually. But I suppose the same can be said for limit orders, although they stay indefinitely if you don't manually cancel those. So I think it's a very useful tool. You buy more Bitcoin at a lower price, and if it doesn't hit, you still make some money on it. And otherwise, at the worst case, it does hit and you get more Bitcoin. So I think it's a win-win solution, and I think it's fairly easy and beginner friendly. To stick with the beginner theme of today. Also, if you have any questions regarding this, feel free to type in the comments. I'm reading them as we speak. There's not a lot of them currently, but yeah, feel free to ask questions, and I'll try to answer them as best I can. Now, for another beginner option, if you have been in crypto for quite a while, PancakeSwap I think is a bit of a legendary project. To me, at least, it was one of the first platforms I used to trade DeFi coins, DeFi tokens. And I bought SafeMoon on PancakeSwap when it just came out. And I think SafeMoon, if you've not heard of it, it's quite notorious. It ended up being a huge scam, but a lot of people made a lot of money on it, and me being one of them, because I got in early. And I was lucky. Honestly, it was completely luck. I was completely lucky, but I made a lot of money. But even I fell for the basic trap of not selling enough, so I didn't sell everything I had, which I should have. But yeah, coulda, woulda, shoulda. But I still like this platform. I still actually quite use it from time to time. It has expanded over the years to a lot of networks. I think it has some of the best prices, DeFi prices to trade. And if you use something like Trust Wallet or something like that, I sometimes check with PancakeSwap, and sometimes the trade is actually cheaper. So if you're trading like $100, it won't really matter. But if you're trading 1,000 or 10,000, you want to get the lowest fees. And sometimes Trust Wallet is not the lowest available. So I double check that with PancakeSwap, and I sometimes still use PancakeSwap. And to continue on with the beginner point of it, yeah, you can swap, you can trade, time weighted average. So you can even, this is a new function they have, you can even set it to have the best weighted average price. So if you're trading a volatile asset, it'll automatically try to time it so you get the most return on your investment, or the most tokens for your most bang for your buck, really. So I think very advanced. Not a lot of platforms have this. This is something you usually see on OTC desks. OTC is basically third market trading, and not open market trading. So very interesting that they have this. Similar to earning. So I think PancakeSwap is also one of the biggest platforms in staking. A lot of platforms have staking nowadays, and usually it's flexible. You can do fixed. You have yield farming. For people who don't know this, yield farming is also a very lucrative way, but it's quite a bit more risky. So would not advise to do that instantly. But what they do have is an automatic position manager for this. So you can stake one token, and in the back end, they manage everything for you, which makes it quite a bit user friendly. So you can single token stake, but on the back end, you're double staking these tokens. And they have quite big APRs. These are yearly amounts, but they have calculators, so you can stake $1,000 for 30 days, compounding every day, and then you gain basically $185 in a month. A side note on this is that the higher percentages are usually very high, very risky assets, and yeah, you should be careful about those, because if one of the token drops, you could end up losing a lot of money. So I would be very spreading your risks and taking multiple assets, etc., etc. But a much more beginner-friendly option is Zero Pools. All you need to do is buy Cake, their native token, and you can stake Cake, and you can earn more volatile tokens. So you don't take the underlying risk on the more volatile token, but you do gain the more volatile token. So you can stake Cake, which is a lot less volatile, and then you can earn some Pepe coin, which in turn could also go up. So you can earn a very volatile token APRs are quite low at this point, but on the upper one, it's quite high. It will decline as more people start to stake it, but it's a neat way to add some funds. So let's say for 7 days you stake $500, you still get $20 return, depending on the value of RWA. Yeah, bridging. If you're a beginner and you've not yet moved tokens across different networks, if you know about different networks, there's a lot of different crypto networks, and you can use platforms to take your USDT from basically BNB or Base, and you can swap it to the separate networks, and you will get USDT on the other network or another token you wish to receive. Now, PancakeSwap obviously is not the only platform that's doing this. There's tons of platforms, but as I said, I think I still like PancakeSwap even out of nostalgia, but I think as time has gone on, they have kept up and they have updated their platform every time. And another thing I liked, this is pure gambling, by the way, but they have a prediction game, they have a little lottery game, and I've won some of these, but you can check that out if you want to. What was the other thing I wanted to talk about? All right, my wallet structure. So for DeFi trading, you need a crypto wallet. Crypto wallets, we have them on exchanges, we have them on platforms, staking platforms. You can use them with PancakeSwap, and there's loads of apps nowadays. They're hot wallets, cold wallets, ledgers, etc., etc., etc. I personally don't have a ledger, don't use a ledger. I have what I call an umbrella of tokens and of umbrella of wallets. And I have a main wallet, which I call appropriately called Fort Knox. And nothing interacts with that wallet except for my own other wallets. So all my long-term holds, all the stuff I've gathered along the years is in there, and I keep it in there, and no one has the keys, and I store the keys somewhere. And I have an umbrella of separate wallets underneath that, and with that, I try to interact with all my apps. Now, I have made a small little image for that, and I'll start presenting that. And I'll share my screen again. There we go. So if it's readable to you guys, I hope so. I'll magnify it a little bit. So if it's not readable, feel free to let me know. I'll try to zoom in a little bit more. If it's fine, it's fine. But basically, I have 3 layers of protection on all my wallets. I have a most protected, somewhat protected, and little to no protection. And I've put exchanges on there as well. I've put multiple exchanges, DEX platforms, gaming platforms, especially. A lot of these crypto games get hacked over time, and you lose out on funds, wallets, access. And a lot of people are it's just because of ease of use. Oh, great. That's readable. But yeah, gaming platforms tend to be, they interact with wallets all the time. They get hacked and wallets are drained, etc. And yeah, just be very, very wary of that. So actually, I should change this a little bit because I have multiple sub wallets. So, but yeah, it's appropriate because you have a separate wallet that interacts with the gaming platform. But as I said, I have 3 layers. My main wallet, Fort Knox, nobody interacts with that. Nothing interacts with that. And nobody knows. I've never entered that contract address anywhere. And if you don't have this yet, you can create it. All these wallet apps, you can create endless amounts of wallets. All you need to do is keep that passphrase, keep it in a vault, in a safe somewhere. Don't tell anyone you have it. Just keep your mouth shut about it, as opposed to what I'm saying right now. But yeah, make that main wallet and keep it secure. Then that sub wallet, that can interact with all your other wallets. So if you have, also I use multiple sub wallets, so it's a little bit outdated, I suppose, but yeah, use multiple sub wallets, especially across all networks. You're usually forced to do this anyway, because not a lot of wallets are 100% multi-network. But yeah, use multiple sub wallets and only use those to interact with exchanges, especially new platforms, new exchanges, new DEX platforms. So let's say PancakeSwap 2.0 comes out, use a separate wallet to send your money to it. And better yet, don't keep too much money on those platforms. If it's not necessary, don't do it. Don't keep it in. Well, I'll keep those private, as we should. But yeah, keep your wallets. Your wallet is your ticket to crypto. It's your retirement ticket, really. So yeah, just keep that safe. Use sub wallets, and also an extra layer of protection. Use burner wallets. So if you have sketchy websites, new staking platforms, new like, can't think of the word, but where new projects launch pads. If you're interacting with launch pads, always try to use a burner wallet, especially with the sketchier, cheaper ones. There's when you're hesitant, that's when you need to be using a burner wallet. It's scorching hot in this room, so I'm getting a bit dry mouth. But yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about today. So if there are any more questions, I wanted to do a beginner session. I'll also have this stream linked on my YouTube channel, and I'll post links to it to. But same amount of but I saw a message. But what I wanted to say is, I'll keep the stream on my channel, just for beginner tips and tricks, I suppose. It's to me, it sometimes seems repetitive, but sometimes there's still people in crypto who don't know the basics, who don't even know what a private wallet is. And I think it's a little bit of all of us, our duty to inform them, to help people out. And we need more people in crypto. The more people we help out, the more people we get into crypto, the higher these market caps will go. And it's a little bit of a butterfly effect on this. The more we instill trust into crypto, the more people will start to use crypto. So when my first endeavor into crypto was trying to help people. As soon as I knew it, I tried to explain it to people. Is it? Well, let's grab the chart real quick. We still have a little bit of time. So let's share my screen again. Getting the hang of this more and more. There we go. Yeah. I wasn't too far off with my prediction. I was just shy of the price. Too bad. It didn't hit my limit order. But as I said, I've been using the buy low function quite a lot. So as I said, it doesn't matter. Like, even if it hits and it goes back up, I mean, you're instantly making profit. So if you just sell it again and keep it as cash on the side, you're still making gains. So I think it's a no-brainer to use that. I wonder why, though, because did they already make peace again or something? Or it was just hype training. Or it rejects this level and we see a big move down. I'm kind of hoping it does. I'm kind of hoping the Bitcoin price goes down. I'd like to see like prices around 100 or possibly 95. But I think we all would. I mean, Bitcoin is becoming less volatile, but in all honesty, it's still heavily news related. I mean, stock markets are as well. I mean, look at Boeing. A plane crashed, and there's nothing indicating that it was Boeing's fault yet. But even though the stock drops almost 8% pre-market instantly. But yeah, I mean it's in the game of crypto, and I'm honestly not worried about it at this point. Like I said, we go down, we buy more. I think with all the positivity, all the big companies moving into Bitcoin, calls for reserves, treasuries, hedge funds, retirements. I don't know what. All these big players are getting into Bitcoin specifically, but I strongly suspect, like, eventually the Bitcoin supply is going to start running out even more than it already is, and that price will skyrocket. It'll push that value up much more, and I strongly suspect the altcoins will follow suit. I mean, right now Bitcoin is about 60% of the entire crypto market, and I think the ratios might stay the same, but uh, it's always been around 50. So I think the altcoins are long overdue to get some love, basically, to get some high rise out of all this. And considering we're seeing altcoins moving a little bit more, we're seeing price increases on Ethereum and movements on Solana. I think there's plenty of life left in it, and that's why they're part of my long-term holds. That's why I have that's one of the beginner tips I should have talked about as well, I suppose. Uh, I have like 10 main tokens, 10 main projects I invest in, and I just do that religiously. I'm getting tired, I suppose, but I do that religiously, and I do that pretty much monthly, or at least I deposit every month, or try to cash out or buy more every month. Uh, Cash out and buying more is counteractive to each other, but if a price goes up a lot, I try to cash out a little bit to buy the dip later in the month. Usually, in every month, there's highs and lows, so I try to rinse repeat that every month. All right, I think I'm going to call it here, unless anyone has a question. But I think I'm going to end the stream. It's blazing hot in here. I hope it is good weather as it is here over there. And yeah, I'd say have a great weekend. And let's hope the world doesn't go completely crazy this weekend again. And let's hope the whole Iran situation becomes better, as well as the American Civil War, I suppose. All right. I don't see any questions. Have a great weekend, guys. And I'll see you all next week.